Hey folks, Leo18 here, and welcome back to another video in this series of the Philidor defense. And in the last video, I showed my first games with the Philidor defense, which wasn't the best games. And the games, those two games that I chose to this video, I chose those games to because they have one thing, and it's the same thing in the two games. I'm gonna show you. So here, e4, d6, and in this game, I really want to know first the push, right? And I not the push of the e pawn, but the push of the d pawn. And after, I'm gonna push this pawn of the e column. Knight f3, e5. I'm waiting by one d5 to trying to see the line of the exchange, and this happens. E by d4, and now he captures, and now I develop the knight, so he comes the other knight, and bishop e7. The idea is to castle, bring the rook to here, and bring the rook to here, and so put the bishop here, and maybe start to make this fianchetto, but not in all the games, but in some games it's good to do this. So now he puts the bishop here, and I played one line that I liked too much, which is this line that I take the pawn, and he will capture with the other knight, with the other knight. And now I will apply one fork, which is the only move that works in this position. So I look at a lot of times in a lot of games with the line, so I remember it, because I see this every day. I see this play almost every day, and so I played. And in the basic lines that I see, the bishop is the piece that the player wants to save, so he puts the bishop here till he captured the pawn, but not here. It just captured the pawn, and so now I capture with the queen, and now he attacked with the knight. And here I think, but I just start to see, hey, I can apply one trap here. I can apply one trick here. So the trick is knight c6, because if he moves this knight to capture my knight, I'm gonna capture the queen, and he will lose the castle, or will lose a time with the knight, a tempo with the knight, right? Not a tempo, but he will lose a time with the knight, because he will take one move, the queen, and another move is needed to the knight back to the game, to bring the knight back, right? So he captured, and so I exchanged the queens, and yes, here it's applied. So castle, castle, And bishop, I'm trying to see these pawns completely connected here, but he didn't help me, so I just attacked the rook. The rook comes to e1, rook of a in b8, b3, bishop b4, attacking another rook, and so I think it to make uh, this bishop goes to here to a3 to start to make pressure in this rook, but this square is controlled by the knight too. So I think nah, I can't do. I will lose my bishop, and I don't want to lose the bishop. Not in this finals. If rooks and pair of bishops against rooks and one knight and one bishop. So he captured. I didn't have seen his attack, so I proposed one exchange of pieces. He accepted, and now I look at and see, hey, I can move this rook and win the game. But I see, hey, if I move this rook to here, he will capture with the bishop. And so I need to make this bishop goes out of the here. Because I need to make the way free in this position. So I didn't have the checkmate more. And I think well, I need to make some moves to try to close the knight and start attacking the king. So I just lose it. One of the most easiest checkmates that I can do. But alright, let's continue. The idea here is to make a move. Now I attack the rook, but I am losing one pawn, and I see, well, alright. So he moved the rook of the way, out of the way. So I came back to protect those pawns, and f3, g6, and now I have the knight d5. I captured the knight. He captured the bishop with the rook. Rook e1, king f2. Now I can see rook e6 to starting, because I just don't have any time in the clock. I used all my time in the opening because I have some difficulties to remember the order of the moves. So g4, c6, attacking the rook, and now rook to g5, bishop f4, trying to expansion here, and at the same time attacking the rook. The rook goes to, yes, the rook goes to capturing the pawn to c4, bishop e3 check, and now I just capture the rook, and now I have a rook against one bishop. But he has two more pawns than me, so it's not easy, but I can win. I just need to take all these pawns. So I move the rook here. The idea is to try to cut off the king, and so he attacked the rook with the bishop, and I just start to attack here. The idea is to attack the pawn. At the same time, I came with a check on the king, and I'm gonna win one pawn and I will do another tempo on the bishop, but my time is completely losed, so I just capture another pawn, and now this pawn is completely passed, and I can march with him. But I just want to make some moves and capture another pawn here. So this is the game that I wanted to show. The other one is a game that I didn't like it too much because start with e4, d6, knight f3, e5, bishop c4, knight f6, knight g5, and now queen d7. I think that I played something like this. So I played, yes, queen to d7, and now he just can capture the pawn because he is using the bishop to support the knight. But I just don't lose another piece. I just protect the queen here. But the move that he recommends and I discovered later is this. This is the move. This is the move. So you need to put the pawn here. And if you capture, you just capture again. No, you don't capture. You just make the knight goes to here, and you kick off the knight. And if the knight goes to here, the correct is the knight goes to here, and if the knight goes to here, you just win a tempo, and you have an advanced pawn here in the king side. So the idea here is the d4 and bishop c5 and knight b3 and bishop d6 is the best one. And now the black pieces have a little advantage in this position. So, but he capture, and I try to save the rook, and knight g5 again, rook a8 again, and he plays knight f7 again. And so, well, if you want this rook, yes, you can take the rook. So queen g4, and now queen by g4, and bishop by g4, and he captured the rook, knight by a8. So is a completely loser position because I just will win a fork here. f3, knight f6, f by g4, and knight by g4, the castle. I put the knight in the c6, d3, and the castle because I want to attack this knight and try to develop my bishop in this diagonal. Knight c3, bishop e7, and so knight d5 here, and bishop a4. So the idea here is just to capture again, g3, bishop e7, knight by e7 check. So it's a completely limited position. I just make it a lot of mistakes. Rook f7 and rook by a8, finally taking the knight. But he just captured the knight here, and g6 trying to liberate the rook. And the end is near, he will just try to capture my my rook, or he will win my knight, and he has a bishop and a rook, the two rooks, and I have just one rook. So it's a completely losing position. So in the d8, rook d7, king c8, rook by a7 check, king d8, and rook by a8 check, and king e7, and bishop g4. So here it's completely losing because of a series of mistakes that I committed here. So all the mistakes just bringing more mistakes and more mistakes and more and more, and don't stop. Just don't stop. They just continue, right? It's only this. I became it so very angry with this game because I really think that it was a gambit that he studied, but it's not a gambit, it's just a study with the knights and the bishops that the guy has looked in the internet, I think. So in this stage of LO, you don't play book rules, you're just playing the this type of tricks, and you're always finding a tricky guy which is winning your position, which is just playing out of your legs, right? It's just this. So I just tried to study. After this game, I studied and tried to make some good decisions. I tried to learn some things that I just don't know how to do. And the idea is always to it's always to bring these things here. So I just want to share that I I really be very angry with this game, and I just look at and said, hey, I need to study more, and I need to see if I can go out of this. So this is the history. In the first game, I lose it because the time I use it a lot of times, right? I use it a lot of time just in the opening, and here I lose it because I just don't know how to make the best decision. Because the best decision here is to to do something like, well, put this knight out of the way. The idea here is make this, and if he captures with he captures with the pawn, you just will capture, you just will manage the knight, and if he start to attack this with the knight, you just start to make some moves that he don't will want to learn, right? So the first move is to attack the queen here, not no. No, it's not the queen. If you make this move, well, you need to do some learn. So I just think it. So when he goes out of the here and goes to here, and the idea is to attack, right? Because if he do something like this, well, he's completely disrespecting your game, and yes, you will need to learn more and more and more things. So this is the video that I want to share with all of you. And so thanks for watching, and we will see you the next time. Bye bye, folks.